Hey guys, it's Loom here. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create this super cute Sorbet Delight bracelet. This was created by my lovely Loomy mama on Instagram. She's just so fabulous. I love all of her designs. They're super cute. This one is actually a variation of a variation. The original design started by Loom in the City and her Archangel bracelet, and then Loomy Mama made a variation of that, and then made a variation of that one, which created this Sorbet Delight. So that's what we're making today. It does take about 105 bands, depending on your wrist size. Lots of different color possibilities that you can play with, but I just think it's super cute. I do have a little piece of one that I started, and I like how it just looks like the pink's kind of floating through. These are limited edition bands. So if you haven't checked out Loomy Mama's account, you most certainly want to. She is fabulous, and I will have her link in the box below for you. Without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and get started. To make this bracelet, you will need a hook and your C-clip. I'm going to be using a double-ended hook. It works fabulous for this design, but not so much the double end of it, but the fact that it's got like the long stick is what really helps out. So if you have a hook like that, that works great. Your Rainbow Loom hook will definitely work as well. It just may be a little bit tight because we have a lot of bands to add on. But other than that, you can certainly use any hook that you have. I would quickly just want to recommend that depending on which color preference you do, you may want to get your bands together beforehand. We're going to be adding 6 bands on to each little section. So like this one has a lot of different colors in it. So I like to get them organized beforehand in piles of 6 so that I don't get confused. So what we're going to do is start by placing a cap band on our hook. Place it on and then reattach. And before we go any further, we're going to attach a C-clip to this cap band. And then you can just let the cap band kind of sit there at the bottom. The C-clip. So now we're going to add our first band on. Since this first section has 1 extra band being added on, I am going to have 2 of the same color being pulled through, and then I'll start switching my colors. So we're going to pull this cap band, or this band, through the cap band. Before you reattach the other side, we're going to pick up the left part of this cap band, getting it back on our hook like so, and then you can reattach like that. So holding on to the middle so it doesn't cross back over, we're going to add on our second band. And we need to pull the first 2 bands over, but make sure they stay in the order they're in. So you may just want to pull that first one over. I do recommend once you pop that first one over, if you can try to hold on to it a little bit, because we're going to need to put that back on the hook. And then you can bring the second band over, and then put that one that you were holding on to back on the hook, like that. Then you can reattach. So you should now have 4 bands. So now we're going to go to our next color, which will be our third band. We're going to pull this through the first 2. Before you reattach, we need to pick up the band furthest to the left and put it back on your hook, and then reattach. We're going to do that again. That's what we're going to do the whole time. So we're going to pick up the first 2 and then you're going to pick up the band furthest to the left. Or if you're left-handed, it will be whatever's furthest to the outside of your hook. Grabbing our next band, bring it through the first 2, and then pick up that outside band, and then attach. Doing that again. Picking up the first 2, put that one back on your hook and reattach. And this should be your 6th band that you're pulling through now. We're going to do that one more time. Pick up the first 2, and then pick up that band furthest to the outside, and then attach. like so. So you should have a total of 9 bands on here right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's what it should look like. So now you're going to grab your connector band, as I call it. And just to show you really quickly, you do see it. It's the white one in there. You can see it there. And so you may want to keep that in mind because you can see it. Place that on the end of your hook, and we're just going to slide all 9 of these bands onto that one. Just slide them all over. And then reattach the other side. Like so. And you may need to just kind of fiddle a little bit, but I like to just do that at the end. So that's what you should have so far. That's our first little section. So if you're using a double-ended hook, this is where you're going to slide everything down to the opposite side. If you don't have a double-ended hook, then you can just turn it around. Okay, so now we're going to start our next section. So what we're going to do is we have to remove this first band here, furthest to the left or to the outside, and we need to pick up that very first band furthest to the outside and place it back on your hook like that, and then you're going to place that one back on. You may want to hold on to it so it stays in place. And now we're going to do everything that we just done the first time, except this time we'll only be adding 6 bands on. So place it on your hook. The first one of each section is always like the hardest because it's a lot tighter. So I don't recommend taking the first 2 over at the same time. I would get that first one over first. Like that. And then I would try to hold on to it because it definitely wants to fall down once that second one comes over. Now you can bring the second one over. And then reattach the one that you're holding with your finger. Like so. And then you can reattach. The first one's always the harder one out of all of them. And now we'll continue doing that same step. So bring over the first 2. Make sure that you keep them in their order. And then pick up the one furthest to the left. And then reattach. Add on your next band. Bring over the first 2. Pick up the one furthest to the outside. And then reattach. Picking up the first 2, picking up the one furthest to the outside, and then reattaching again. We have to do this 2 more times. Pick up the first 2, reattach the one furthest to the left, and reattach. And this is my 6th band here. Doing that 1 more time. Reattaching the one furthest to the left again, and reattaching. So this is how it should look. If you count the bands that we've added, there should be 8, but if you count the one that was left over on the hook, there should be a total of 9 on there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So perfect, we did it correctly. Now we're going to add on our connector band again. This connector band is going to go through everything on your hook, so it should be going through all 9 bands. So just slide them all over. And then you can reattach the other side, like so. So now we're going to slide this down to the other end of our hook again. Or turn it around if you only have one hook. And now we're going to start that pattern all over again. So we need to remove the first band furthest to the left. And now we need to pick up the very first band here, which is my blue, and then reattach the one you're holding. Now we can start adding our 6 bands. Remember, this first one is definitely the harder one because it's kind of tight. So I'm going to pull the first one over first, and then I'm going to grab a hold of it, and then I'll bring my second one over and reattach that one I'm holding, which is the outside band, and then I'll reattach the one we slid on. Doing that again, bringing over the first 2, reattaching the one furthest to the left. It's definitely a super easy design, because you just keep repeating the same steps over and over. And I'm on my last band. Doing that one more time, adding on the one furthest to the left. And there we have our 9 bands on again, total. Grab your connector band, slide everything on it. Reattach together. Voila. So now you would just slide it down again or turn it around, and you would do that again. So I'll do it 1 or 2 more times, and you guys can just kind of follow along. Definitely gives different looks depending on which colors you use. But I really wanted to try where each section was the same with that bright color, just to kind of see how that looked. And I almost messed up because I was talking. So the first thing we're going to do is remember to remove that first band and pick up the very first band furthest to the outside, which should always be the color of your connector band. And then we can proceed. Pick up that one furthest to the left, which I was already holding. And this is my last one for this section. So we're back at 9. I'm going to grab my connector band. I'm going to pull that through. Like so. So now we have 4 sections. So I'm going to go ahead off of camera and get my length completed, and then I will come back and show you how to close it up, which is actually super easy. I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back with my completed bracelet. It did end up taking me 16 of these sections to complete my wrist size. With the silicone bands, it did take 15 of these sections, so it can differ a little bit. So if you haven't realized so far, all you're going to do is simply locate your C-clip, which is at the bottom of your bracelet right here, and you're just simply going to attach it to the bands that are on your hook. So it's that simple. If it makes you feel any better, if you're nervous about losing this band, you can certainly add one more band through and then attach it. I'm really loving how this color combination came out too. I think it looks super cool. So as a reminder, this super cute design was created by the very talented Loomy Mama on Instagram. Please check her out, give her a follow. If you do make this, please tag her, Loomy Mama, as well as myself, Loves to Loom. We'd love to see your rendition. And if you did like this, please hit that like button below as well so others can see it and make it. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, you can do that as well so you can keep up to date with my tutorials. So I am also on Facebook and Pinterest under Loves to Loom as well if you want to find me on there. And I will see you all at my next video. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Bye.